Hey, it appears I'm live. It says I'm live. I'm live. I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi. How are you, my friends? Welcome to the show. If it's the first time you've ever joined us, it's a thing where I'm up late at night, like I've been most of my life, and like most of my life, I watch movies. So, out of my love for the late night movie hosts, as well as the commentary tracks on home media, that's what our show is—a nice live chat audience to discuss Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors. You guys ever seen this one? Where's this rank on your list of Freddy's? This is my second favorite Freddy. Most people, this is their favorite Freddy, but I mean, I'm a fan. You know, I I rep hard, bro. So yeah, this one's a personal fave. It's not my fave of the Nightmare on Elm Street, but since Freddy's probably my favorite slasher, this is pretty highly ranked to me. Oh, my friend Anthony Chabot is here, joining me right away. I love that about you, Anthony. You always welcome me. How are you, buddy, doing, by the way? Next movie is Wicked Part 2. Oh, congratulations. I have that on VHS, the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. I'm wearing my Ghostbusters shirt. Who are you gonna call? Chobot. Yeah, nice to. Sorry, Chabot. Nice to see you here, buddy. It's glad to see you. What's going on with the memoirs? You on 2017? Um, anyway, so tonight, yeah, we're going to be watching Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Uh, all sorts of awesome stuff with this one. Arguably a perfect horror movie. We can discuss that as it goes along, but it's pretty amazing. It's got bad stuff, it's got good stuff, it's got awesome special effects, it's got bad special effects, it's got amazing things, and it's got stuff where you're like, that is B movie as hell. So it's kind of perfect in that way. It's got cool cameos by people. And anyways, I'm watching this on HBO Max. I'm going to take one drink of this. I'm going to say hello to some folks in the chat, and then we're going to get started. Cool? Cool. Ah. My friend Sean is here. Welcome. There, that's better. Oh, he's Anthony's ending 2016. Okay, good. Hey, good evening. Share the stream, and you're hitting 1K tonight. I appreciate that, Sean. For those of you watching right now and interested in following me or subscribing to me, I should say, I am currently 6 away from the magic number of 1,000, the coveted 1,000. For YouTubers, that's a special mark because they unlock crap. You get the different this and that. So I would like to have that all up and running, and that'd be a nice accomplishment. And then really, I don't care anything past 1,000 as long as I can stay there. I'm happy. So um, thank you for all of you who have joined the Night Owls up until this point, and welcome to all of you who are new. Um, Folks are saying hello to each other. Still waiting till the government shut down so I can get a job. Oh yeah, that government shutdown's been a real pain. And everybody I know is incredibly worried about it. So can't blame them. A lot of folks I know work for the government. A lot of folks depend on the government. It's been a mess. But I don't want to talk about the government. I want to talk about Freddie. Uh, before I get started and hit play, a warning about tonight's show. One of my neighbors is having an issue, and her boyfriend has been coming and going, whatever. So there's a motorcycle that may interrupt the show. If that happens, we'll discuss it then. But at some point, there could be loud runs interrupting, but we'll see. Other than that, I'm going to watch this on HBO Max. I'm going to go ahead and press play. Um, this one is from 1987. For those of you looking to watch it, if you don't watch it within the next few days, I saw it leaves HBO Max on Halloween. So um, I've pressed play. Oh, here's a commercial for Weapons, which is on Max right now. I want to check that out. Um, I heard Weapons is pretty damn good. That hopefully will be sometime this week. All right, and here we start with the New Line Cinema logo. I love it. It's like a warm hug. You know what I mean? You know it's gonna be quality. Same with like Lionsgate. It's like, oh, I'm about to see some craziness right here. Um, Still missing Brianna. Parents don't want to talk to me. Oh, these things are incredibly tough, Anthony. Sleep, those little slices of death. How I loathe them. Edgar Allan Poe. Kind of an interesting way to start, this movie. Throw a little Poe quote out there. Um, when last we left Freddy, we did a watch along of part one on my show here. Feel free to go back through the back catalog and check out stuff. But yes, we did a watch along of part one. That's probably my favorite Freddy movie. Maybe one of my favorite, maybe my favorite horror movie of all time. It's awesome. Like every time I watch it, it's just creepy and unsettling. Um, then that was a surprise hit at the box office and on VHS. So they made a part two, and it's sort of got some interesting subtext. We'll watch that some other time and talk about it. But there's cool things in it, and there's really bad things in it. And it's got its fans and it's got its haters. But I'm in between on it. I can take it or leave it. This one, however, I love. This gets back to pretty much everything that two forgets. Like it brings back Heather Lagenkamp, it brings back John Saxon. They, reference the house without being in the house. They get to Freddy's backstory, the bastard son of 100 maniacs. All that. This one really gets the series back and running. And this is the start of a trilogy. Four or yeah, 3, 4, and 5 are a trilogy. So there's Robert Englund's credit. It starts off with like this paper mache deal of this woman making the house, the classic Elm Street house that Heather Lagenkamp lived in. Mm, Jim Carrey is playing George Jetsons. Really? I didn't know they'd signed that deal. I read this week that the people making the new Freddy movie, the new Nightmare on Elm Street, they're really lobbying hard to try to get Jim Carrey to be the new Freddy. So let me know in your thoughts in the live chat or the comments if you think Jim Carrey would be a good Freddy. I mean, after The Mask, yeah. Speaking of The Mask, the director of this is Chuck Russell, who also directed The Mask. See how it all ties back around together? Chuck Russell also did the remake of The Blob, which is considered much like this. It's a cult classic horror film. It's got its big audiences. So we start off on the first girl. I don't know if she's supposed to be our final girl, like main girl in this one or whatever. She's played by Patricia Arquette, an early scene, early stuff for her. Apparently, she almost got fired. Like Chuck Russell did an interview I watched where he said that she wasn't very good to start, so they had to like talk her lines to her. She kept forgetting her lines, and she just didn't seem prepared, and they wanted to get rid of her at first. Well, I'm glad they didn't, though. It's Alabama, Alabama Wally. Um, Producer Robert Shea. I like Robert Shea. Every time I see him, he's like just seems like the nicest, most friendly guy. He's got a real Roger Corman vibe to him. And then, of course, his wife Lynn Shay is in all sorts of horror movies, and I most know her from Kingpin. She's disgustingly awesome in Kingpin. And this movie's from 1987, and this opening scene tells you exactly what year it's from. It's the most 1980s thing ever. It's one of the reasons I like Poltergeist 3. It's like everything is so 1980s. Like Patricia Arquette's mom's wearing like a big fur coat. It's like, really? Garish. But along with Patricia Arquette, this movie also has a young Laurence Fishburne in it. Um, One of the things I like about horror is really good actors often get their break in horror. They stand out well, so they end up moving on to bigger, better things. But in this in particular, Lawrence Fishburne stands out. He's got a real cool way about him. Surprise, surprise. And this one, in my opinion, the story picks up perfectly. Like it, um, like I say, with part two kind of has a little bit of a departure. The guy's trying to like almost possess Freddy like a demon, and have the guy in the movie become like Freddy almost. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff going on in part two. Well, like I said, we'll watch it someday. But in this one, it gets back to the important stuff. Freddy's torturing kids like he's supposed to, but because of it, they all go kind of crazy and end up in a mental home. So right away, we've changed the setting to somewhere even spookier than Elm Street. We're in a mental institution, or at least a hospital where they take care of people who are having mental disorders. And then, of course, there's a haunted building right next door to it where a horrible nun tragedy happened. But what place doesn't have its history? So here's Patricia Arquette's having a dream. We see right away she's in Freddy World. And there's the little girls in the old school dresses doing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you with the jump rope or whatever. And the last time when we watched this, when we watched part one, I should say, I'd never looked at it before, but that movie starts with children doing this. So it makes me think all of part one might be a dream. Like the original Nightmare on Elm Street, from beginning to end, there's no waking moments. It's all a dream. At least that's what kind of started to occur to me last time I was watching. I need to now watch it again and see if that's how I think. This I dig because, like I say, Freddy's hassling these teenagers. They're all trapped in the mental wellness center. And in their dreams, they kind of do this mastery of their dreams thing, like that um, Heather Lagenkamp did in the first one. Nancy, sorry. Um, so it's kind of like almost an inception thing. They can control what's going on in their dreams. And it reminds me of this old school movie Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid, where these people go into each other's dreams. It's kind of an early inception. They invade other people's dreams. And in looking up some of the research for this, I find out Chuck Russell, the director of this, wrote Dreamscape. And it's like, oh, well, of course he did. It all makes sense. So you got these dream warriors, as the title says. Did you guys ever see The New Mutants? No one did, of course not. Um, it's a total ripoff of this in basically Freddy Part 2. The whole thing with kids trapped in the school and they're like, troubled and overcoming their identities and whatnot. This is a much better version. Don't watch New Mutants, watch this. Awesome, scary moment. She's in her dream, walking around. So, of course, she ends up in the boiler room. And then a little girl on a tricycle rides up and says, Freddy's home. Like a real rip-off of Poltergeist, but super scary. Super scary indeed. Oh, let's see here. Elm Street 4 has grown on me a bit, but overall, it's the first three movies for me. I'll take so much horror comedy before I get so tired of it. And Elm Street movies are drenched in comedy. Yeah, this especially is that's a very astute observation, Sean. The first movie, the reason I like it is because it is straight horror. Like it's nightmare all the way through. There are very few comical moments in part one. And then part two, there's a few silly moments, and there's a lot to talk about with part two. With the main character is essentially just struggling with his sexuality, and Freddy is there as some sort of like demon pushing him one way. I don't know. We can talk about it sometime, like I keep saying. But this one, they bring back Freddy, and they realize that people like Freddy, so they make him more like silly. This starts off the first movie where Freddy becomes almost like Bugs Bunny. You know, most of the time in these horror movies, like Michael Myers doesn't talk or Jason doesn't talk. Everything okay? Okay, good. Mrs. Night Owl made it in safely. The motorcycle bandit didn't get her. Okay. I love you. Thank you. Uh, Mrs. Night Owl says hi to everyone. Um, so then she wakes up at home, and this scene in the beginning, there's a callback to it later. And oh, it's a trick. She doesn't really wake up. She's still in a dream. I never have that. Like where in my dream, I wake up from a dream and it's still a dream. Movies, people have it all the time. Like I said, Inception, dreams within a dreams within a dream. And I never have that. This is the awesome scene where the handles on the sink come up, the hot and the cold, grow fingers and they go claws and they grab her by. And this is instead, it just looks as if she makes a suicide attempt. And that's how she ends up with our crew at the I don't know what you call it, mental wellness center. What's the proper term now? There's a psychiatric hospital, so we'll just go with that. And there's Laurence Fishburne, cool as hell. It's funny, Laurence Fishburne. This is like the only movie I think of him in where he's relatively young. Like, well, obviously, Apocalypse Now, he was cast super young. I think he was like 14 or something when he made that. And that was supposed to be so when you watched it, you felt like some of the soldiers in the Vietnam War or any war just looked way too young to be at war. But then the rest of his career, he's pretty much professionally grown. He's always Morpheus or some sort of like, tough, cool guy, Furious Styles or whatever. But this is like him in his early 20s, just cool as hell. And here's old buddy. I don't even know his name. The star of this, technically, Craig Wasson. The only thing I know him from is Body Double, the old Brian De Palma thing. Um, but I don't know. They tried to make him a thing in the movies for a little bit, but he's probably the best actor in this. Heather Lagenkamp's pretty awesome because she's who she is, but her acting a lot of times is very sort of stunted. And this dude, he does a good job. He emotes, you know, and he gets set off on a whole little side mission where he has to like rescue Freddy's bones and find the whole missing church, and we learn it's got a ghost nun. Things just get off the rails with my boy here. But I like the institutionalized setting. You know, the people are trapped; they can't escape. So that way, if Freddy starts attacking them, they can't. Well, I don't know what they would do anyways. In their other movies, they just fall asleep on a bus or whatever. But it looks like a busy psychiatric hospital, or whatever town Elm Street's in is must be a dangerous place. Oh, let's see here. Jinja Ninja is here. Hola, Nato, when we tack and chat. Welcome, Jason, a amazing YouTuber, our buddy from down under, one of my favorite horror reviewers, one of my favorite people to drop by in the chat. You a big fan of this one, Jason? Where's it rank in your Freddy top five ish? So now we see Patricia Arquette slice up Laurence Fishburne, which is good because even when Freddy's not on the screen, there's still like craziness and danger. Yeah, this scene, it comes and it goes, this movie. There are some shots that are just amazing. And I was looking at it earlier when I was watching this. It it's such a beautifully shot film in certain parts, and then other parts it's so amateurish and like edited in a way that looks like a early beginner film or someone that had a very low budget. And this did have a low budget. It was less than 5 million, and it made 40 something, 40 million something at the box office. So it was a huge success. Thus, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, blah blah blah. Because part one, it was mediocre success. It did well, and especially on home video, it blew up. So two did decent, and then three did decent, and that's how Freddy became a household name. Sean says, "Yeah, everything good. Hope you're doing well too, Jason." People saying yo to each other. I like that. So now here, Nancy shows up, and she's talking with the doctor. What is his name? Craig Watson plays Neil. So Nancy's talking to Neil. A real end convention here going on. But we still haven't met the main cast, and that's when it gets kind of cool, the actual Dream Warriors. And at first they're just like these nerdy dorks, and they're fun because they're like regular teenagers. They got, the one girl dreams of being a TV star, and like the one kid wants to be a Dungeons and Dragons, whatever, and the one kid, like the fake Yafet Kodo guy, wants to be like a big strong guy and all this. So when they have their dreams, they transform into those characters, and we get sort of an X-Men thing. That's part of the fun of it. Finally Freddy has a worthy adversary. In part one, everybody's just like, I don't know, victims. Nancy fights back at the end. It's a total last house on the left in the third act, but up until then, everybody in the movie is just, a pawn for Freddy's games. There's the first shot of young Valak. This I think this is the first movie I saw a creepy nun in. I'm sure there's been a million. What's your favorite creepy nun movie? The Nun 2? That's May Ann's, I bet. I don't know. Conjuring 2 is a pretty good nun. It's a scary nun. But I like that Nancy's grown up in this. Like in the first movie, she looks a little old for high school, but she plays it well. She feels vulnerable. But here she's like grown up. She looks, it's been a whole 3 or 4 years or whatever. So yeah, she looks like she's 10 years older. She got a little white streak in her hair from the end of the first one. Here's where we meet the Puppet Man. This guy has a cool scene with his death because there's a neat claymation thing with Freddy in it. But it's cool. We get to meet like, just the cast of characters. They're fun. The Nun 2 sucks. Yeah, I still haven't seen any of the Nun movies. Everything's good over there. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Nun movies. I saw Conjuring 2, and I was like, oh, that's a scary nun. But I haven't seen anything beyond that. And here's where we meet not Fiat Kodo. There's all sorts of people in movies. I swear they're just like cheap knockoffs of Yaphet Kodo from Alien or what's the James Bond movies and Live and Let Die maybe. Um, I don't know. Yaphet Kodo just makes every movie better. So there's all these fake Yaphet Kodos, not Fiat Kodos. So there's your free pun. The next one's going to cost you. Oh, here's We see the kid that doesn't talk, and he's nice. He's got a friendly way about him, but he's clearly got a thing for this nurse. I still have the first Nun movie and the Shrink Wrap. I just can't watch it for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed The Conjuring 2. It was scary. It was a bit convoluted. I didn't like it as much as the first one. But that Nun was some scary imagery, but I never got around to watching those movies. And once again, Patricia Arquette's mom is doing her best to win the most 80s house ever award. I like that she's got a bunch of pictures sitting around in her house and they're of her. Like they're all glamour shots of herself. She seems like a sweet, loving mother, very sensitive to other people's needs. Oh, let's see here. Jason says there was a scene in the Hun that was done really well. There was pure trash. I'm assuming you meant the Nun. The Nun, even. So both of them. Shout out to Attila. He doesn't get enough respect in these chats. So right now we are at the 1740 mark. There's an hour and 20 minutes left. Hour and 19, I should say. Excuse me. Um, this one is kind of perfect. They keep it tight. They don't make me wait, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I saw this one in the cinema for the first time, and then like most things of that era, I got it as soon as I could when it was released on VHS and had it for 3, 4 days, whatever. And then later on, when home media became a thing and I wanted to get all the Freddy movies collected, I made sure to get this one. This is like one of the first ones I bought. I think this and one were the first two I collected. Back when they had them big snapper cases, the for some reason New Line and Warner Brothers had like these cardboard snapper cases for their DVDs, and they stuck out just a little bit farther than regular DVDs. It was annoying as hell. Oh yeah, I rarely ever hear positive things about the Nun movies. Like I said, my friend Mayanne, beloved queen of the horror community, she's a fan of the Nun movies, and I trust Mayanne. So if she says it's good, I'll at least give them a try. Hey, hey, 59 Survivor of VHS is here. Thank you, CWR Southport, you to notify me of your time. Yes, once again, thank you, Sean, for shouting out the stream. I appreciate it. As I mentioned, going into tonight, we're only 6 away from 1,000 subscribers. So come on, join the Night Owls. Please, please join the Night Owls. Well, I appreciate that. Like it's hard to explain that. I like that they use the house from part one as important imagery because we all sort of remember it, but it's not really important to the story. Like, I mean, what was that? Where Freddy's glove was being stored or something? Because in here they show where his bones are being stored, and it's just Elm Street and the parents of Elm Street in general. So here's creepy tricycle. Saw totally stole this. I think the Omen probably invented this, right? The creepy tricycle. What's your favorite creepy tricycle in a movie? There's a horror subgenre not enough people get into. These are my supernatural movies. These are my demonic possession movies. These are my creepy tricycles. I dig this one because in the first, well, the way it's shot and the way it works, in the first one, the mood carries it. It's a lot of score. It's a lot of fog. It's a lot of real practical effects, just blood and gore for the sake of blood and gore, right? And a few like gross pus scenes and stuff. And then in the second one, it's sort of a straight slasher with other things. But this one, they almost go the Evil Dead route. Like there's a lot of stop motion, a lot of matte paintings, a lot of overlays, just lots of tricks that film. The reason I like Evil Dead 2 is what this movie starts trying to do, and I dig that. Like it, some of the effects aren't perfect, but you appreciate them all. Like here's a scene: Patricia Arquette's dreaming again, and she walks into a room and there's an old decaying pig, like a roasted pig on the dinner table. And it jumps at her and squeals. And it's like, because this movie, the era it's made, it looks great. Like this is, the height of practical effects. So all of the practical effects stuff in this is, fantastic. And here's the cool scene with the rug. It really ties the room together. Um, she goes in there, and then this actually looks very Matrixy. There's like this big area rug in the center of the room, and you can see like Freddy's hands rubbing across the bottom of it. Shot overhead there. For a budget of 4.5 million or whatever, it's impressive that they do, like I said, the Evil Dead stuff. You know, and there's where the giant Freddy snake slug thing comes out of the ground and picks her up and starts eating her legs. This is a scene you often see when they talk about, like, 100 greatest horror movies or famous montages of crazy stuff that happens in horror movies. There's one of them. And now Nancy realizes she's kind of can feel, what the hell is Patricia Arquette's name in this? Kristen. Unfortunately, that's the problem with being a big actress is after a while you just become that actress. I don't think I've ever seen a movie where Julia Roberts wasn't Julia Roberts. Robert De Niro's been Robert De Niro for every movie my entire life. But here we see that people can be inside each other's dreams. And like I said, that's very Dreamscape, this old cool Dennis Quaid movie. If you haven't seen that, I recommend finding it. It's always on like Tubi or Shout Factory or one of those free channels. Snake Man. Snake Man's terrifying. But once again, she wakes up from a dream and then she jump scare. She wakes up from a dream again. It's like this. Don't fall for the dream within a dream. When you wake up, you just know shit's spork might still be on. Oh, I see some folks are in here. Hey, look at all these people popping in. Nice to see you, folks. Let's see here. First of all, I see. Oh man, wow, it's a bunch of guys. Look at this. Um, Don Tooting, 59 for VHS. He's the man. Yeah, Don's hitting 1K tonight, 996 now. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. So, yeah, if we finished 1,000 by the stream, or at least Halloween, that'd be nice, right? Halloween would be nice. Howdy, Ninja. Folks are saying hi to each other. What is the timestamp? Howdy, Russell. I'm watching this on Max or HBO Max or whatever the hell it's called these days. It's currently at the 23, 54, 55, 56 mark. So that means we have a good hour and 12 minutes, hour and 13 minutes of show left. Finally, the group session. So if we're at the 24-minute mark and the movie itself is an hour and 35, yeah, that's pretty much the first act, right? So here we are in our first group session, which makes sense. That's where the second act should start, as we sort of meet the individual characters, and then once they all get together in group session and we see that they're troubled in their various ways. So anyways, let's see here. There's a party going on tonight. You're hella right, Cinderella. Man, we were just talking about you. I stood in your place as a knight to defend the nun. Hello, my fellow warriors. Russell is here. Russell's here. Where's Russell? Oh, there he is. Evening Don mate. Hello, Russell Collier, my friend. Nice to see you. Coolest man in the world. Um, let's see here. Carrie Crave Cinema. Hello, everyone, and Mr. Owl. Welcome, Carrie Crave Cinema. A longtime friend of the channel. Awesome and amazing human being. Perfect person to have here and hang out and watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3 with us. I have this movie on VHS Media Level 90 Video Treasures tape. Yeah, I think I have the first one on VHS because it's one of those that they frequently put out in bundles around Halloween. Like Blockbuster used to put out a series of VHS. That's what my Halloween is. It's got like the Blockbuster logo on the outside of the package. I think my Exorcist might be like that too. But yeah, this one, the original Freddy, um, Hellraiser, Phantasm. Folks are saying hello to each other. Ben Grimm up all night. Welcome, Ben Grimm. Nice to see you. And speaking of up all night, for those of you who haven't joined us before, that's our shtick here. We're up in the middle of the night. We can't sleep, so we're watching awesome movies tonight. It's Friday the 3rd. Jesus Christ. Freddy Part 3, Nightmare on Elm Street. Dream Warriors. Sorry, I was distracted because this Nafet Kodo guy, every time I look at him, I just think his agent just calls up. It's like, you need a Yafet Kodo type guy in your movie? It's like, yes, we do. We'll send him over. You need to get a kid sister doll, right? Um, LOL, I do. Yes, I do. I'm not trying to go dreamy, I carry. Not this Chucky franchise, Kid Sister. I'm not sure how that's been made done yet as a movie. I think it's possible. This is better though than the Caterpillar and Freddy versus Jason. I agree with that. Uh, Freddy versus Jason is weird for me because I it I don't particularly like it, even though I like it in theory. Like it's all right, I could watch it, but it's not one of my faves. The part where Kelly Rowland gets her nose cut off is pretty hilarious. But overall, it's meh. It could have been way better, but it looks so good. It's one of the best looking, like either Jason or Freddy movies. Like I like to see the old school '80s B movie stars, horror stars get their due with the big screen. You know, the pretty Hollywood treatment with good lighting and all that. Carrie says, "Oh, Kristen, that's how far back the chat is. Oh boy." Um, Freddy's Snake, aka is in the original movie poster, is actually a reference to Dreamscape, the snake monster in that movie. Thank you. It all comes back around to Dreamscape. Give me at least 10 more Chucky movies, 59th, right? I see you're getting close to 1K. Yeah, I know, Carrie. It's taking forever, right? That's what happens when you're erratic. When you're a sketchy, erratic person, these are the things that happen. But I'm very blessed that close to 1,000 people are nice enough to subscribe to my channel. I enjoy the community we've built here more than anything. As you can see, how happy I get when I see different people popping in tonight. Ginger Ninja says Dreamscape is dope. Yeah, I love me some Dreamscape. The guy from Warriors, the Warriors come out and play. He's a good villain in that. He's a nice guy. Post it for your channel, Don, to show support because you could be at 55,000 because your content is so. Oh, Carrie, you come here. You want to be a big hug. All right. Enough of the loving. Back to the show. Cool. 24. I can fast forward. Pray to fast forward. 45. Okay. Yeah. We are currently at the 28, 13, 14, 15. This is where Nancy and old boy Neil, Nancy and Neil, go out and are having a nice dinner at a Bennigan's. You know, he got him a mug of beer, just blowing off some steam. I think this is when she tries to convince them to take Hypnosil. It's like this fictional drug that makes it so they can't dream. And then, there's a big debate about that. Love the Stoner Caterpillar. Agreed, Carrie. I've never seen that 159. I've only seen the trailer for it, Dreamscape. That was one of the first early VHS I remember when I got, when we first got our VCR as a kid. We got cable a little before that. But man, that one, Dreamscape, the cover was cool. I don't know if that was a Drew Struzan or not, but the cover was super cool. Um, and then, that was when Dennis Quaid was kind of first starting to become a star. And I don't know, George Wendt is really good at it. It's kind of a creepy. It's basically Inception, but except it's more action and cool stuff going on in the dreams than just intrigue and espionage type stuff. First time, I love Dream Warriors. Well, welcome Oracle 684. Nice to see you. Yeah, this is a classic. I was mentioning earlier. I think it's kind of a perfect horror movie in a lot of ways. So much of the special effects are great. The cast is cool. Um, Freddy has like worthy adversaries. These people, I say that word wrong every time. Worthy adversaries. Like these people feel like they could put up a fight against Freddy. They're not just victims. Speaking of that, we're getting to one of our first kills here. The kid who's the puppet master, and then they do this cool thing where we see his puppets, and it's like a live stop motion deal with Freddy, and he comes to life, and then later on he turns the dude into puppets, and he's like pulls his tendons out, and he's moving them around and stuff. None of that stuff's in one or two. This is when we first start to get into like, okay, in dreams anything can happen, so let's get wild with it. And there's a cool like overlay shot. I don't know, probably chroma key where Freddy just springs up and grows from behind the dude's bed. Low budget on the slicing here. They're not showing the cuts. They're just showing Freddy stabbed down, and then we pull back and see painted on cuts. That's how they save their money on that low budget. But it works. And I like in all the stuff here that when we see people fighting with Freddy and then we cut to them dreaming and they're just sort of like, stumbling around looking crazy. Like old buddy here being puppeteered. He's like this marionette with the tendons in his arms. But then when people see him walking around, he's just like, stumbling around sleepwalking. Who dare disrespect Valak, right? I know. That's why I stood up for him. I was like, I'm not trying to get in trouble here. Hey, Oracle, nice to see a new face. That's what I was thinking too. That's cool of you to drop by, Oracle. Welcome. Check that out, Sean. My uncle got me to that movie. I have the movie poster in Nightmare at Home, and I was always wondering what that was. I thought it was a devil dog, but it looked close to a snake. Yeah, that's what I mean. That scene with that, weird slug monster, and then the one later on. It's kind of classic Freddy. I don't know how that became classic Freddy, but it just is. So hopeful. Well, good. I'm glad I'll be rolling over one night. I can just put that to bed and enjoy Halloween. I don't dare mess with that thing. I've heard that too much in my life. I'm not going to hunt some people that maybe sometime down in a handheld. As you should, Carrie. Wasn't that the kid's name? Freebird? Which kid? Oracle 684. Oh, hi. 4 p.m. surrounded by blue sky and sunlight. Yeah, here for me it is 1:35 in the morning. So, but I'm East Coast time now. I used to be Central time, so it's only 12:30 on my internal clock. And since my internal clock usually doesn't want to go to bed till like 4 in the morning, it's a real adventure. Some days I'm up to see the sun whether I like it or not. I just need four victims. I mean followers in the weirder 1K. All right, let's do this, people. I appreciate you. We are four away from 1,000. 1K party tonight. Yes, Freddy versus Jason. I feel so similar. Great to watch, but not the best to enjoy. Yeah, there's cool things about it, and because of Godzilla, Kong, and some of the other versus movies, the idea of Freddy versus Jason I like a lot, but just in practice, it's all right. I don't like that they replaced Mrs. Voorhees. I don't like that Jason looks weird with the hair. There's some stuff that's just not right. As much fun as it's an entertaining movie, I still enjoy it so much. Yeah, I mean, conflicted views. I'd rather watch Jason Goes to Manhattan than Freddy versus Jason. Wow, but you are crazy 88. That is a good point. I'm also a sketchy, erratic person, so I know what you're going through. Thank you. Don't make us jealous. Virtual hugs. Thank you. That's how far back I am. Geez, I need to catch up. The full size Chucky movie, the giant 7 foot one. That's nightmare fuel. Big size giant. They make a giant Chucky like those giant skeletons. So here we're back at the group meeting the day after the kid who got turned into a marionette jumped off the roof, and clearly they're all going through some things. But that's what I like. We see it's almost like a 10 Little Indians kind of thing, where we see the group to start, and then slowly they kind of get picked off, and we are with them just long enough to learn who they are and care when they die. I think that Umbilical Pharmaceutical brought to you by Freddie. I think it is. Paula, welcome, Paula. She was here last time we did a show. Paula, you are very sweet. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad to have you here. I'm posting again and hoping for the best. Thank you. Hi, Paula and Oracle. AI can only provide a life-size Chucky, unfortunate. That's sad. I'm going to visit a house in the neighboring town that has a giant Chucky, Jason, and more. I am jealous of that. Jason and Freddy were kids once. I love that creepy kid film. I like that one. Oh, the kids film. That would be a fight scene to be well. I don't want to mess with a life size or oversized Chucky, specialized in zombies and cryptid mutants. And cryptid mutants is something I need to see more movies about. Yes, kids, not cuds. I figured it out after I said it. I have the commission for Jason, LOL, a reason my favorite. Watch The Elixir on Netflix for crazy zombies. I just saw a commercial for that the other day. That's oh, I don't know, foreign language. I looked at it for a second because I'm in the middle of finishing up The Walking Dead. So probably after I finish that, I'll find something else to sort of wash the zombies out of my brain, clear my palate a little bit, and then I'll be looking for something. Um, I was also told I need to watch Santa Clara Diet or whatever it's called, Santa Clarita Diet, whatever. I've never saw that one, and I heard it's good. But once again, sounds like I'm just getting done with some zombies. I'm not trying to jump into some more cannibal zombie thing. But the Elixir's on my list. I only watched a little bit of The Kingdom though, so I I, I will tap out on a zombie show. But somehow I've made it through almost damn near 11 seasons of Walking Dead this month. Michael is great, just pure evil. Well, that's the thing with Freddy. Michael and Jason and these people don't talk, and occasionally Pinhead will throw out a little zinger, but like Leatherface doesn't talk. So it's pretty much just Chucky and Freddy to give you the waka waka. You know, nobody talks their spork like Chucky and Freddy. Freddy's catch line is basically bitch. We talked about this before in the Thanksgiving movies. The turkey in there, he always just like bitch. And that's like, I don't know, they're sort of mocking Freddy, I feel like, in those movies. And it's funny in its own way. Giant life size Chucky, I mean, you just can't punt him away. Team Voorhees. Cool, man. I have not heard of it. Yeah, I saw it. It was on my splash page today. Like I said, I've been watching Walking Dead, so I have a feeling they were pushing zombies on me. So like, here, you'll like this. East Coast time now. I'm still belt buckle central. Yeah, that's how I am. Internally, my mind is still 1 hour behind. It's Indonesian. There we go. Yeah, I was gonna say I stopped to see. It was like that looks like a big production. How come I never heard of that? And I was like, oh, okay, foreign language, so it was funded and made somewhere else. 9.97 shipping away. Oh, come on, guys. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all the folks here. That's one of the main things I love about my community of friends that I've built together here is so many of you are so awesome and supportive, and it's part of the reason it's easy to do this. Like the times when I don't get to do it and I wish I could, I feel bad about it. It's like, oh, I miss hanging out with my friends and talking movies, you know? Let's go. Freddy versus Jason at the construction yard was pretty good with the rebar action. Yeah, it's got some fun stuff in it, and that's what I mean. I own it. I think I have it on Blu-ray. I know I for sure have it on disc. It's dubbed down. I loved it. Yeah, dub stuff I'm usually fine with. I'm not one of these people who doesn't like dubbed. As long as the voices in the ballpark match up, I'm fine. What was it I watched? Marianne, I think it was called. It's like a horror series on Netflix, real Stephen King. It's creepy and weird. I recommend it. If you guys are looking for something for Halloween, Marianne's really good. Um, and that one's dubbed, and it didn't bother me at all. I believe that's originally French foreign language. Congrats to you finishing The Walking Dead because I can't torture myself with that, but I've tried. Do you believe I watched that show week to week? It was the last show it was the finishing end of watching shows from week to week to week to week. I think, Breaking Bad when it was coming to the end, I binged them all and watched the last couple weeks, but a show week to week to week and with the big gaps of layoffs in between seasons, like a Walking Dead would usually come out at like Halloween and run till Christmas and then take a break until Valentine's Day. So the ability to I watched like 8 seasons from week to week amazes me, but I tapped out. So there was like another 3 seasons I never saw. So we started from the beginning so we remember everything. And that's a cast of, it's almost as bad as Game of Thrones. Congrats to you finishing The Walking Dead. Oh my God, I love Santa Clarita Diet. Drew Barrymore to me left an absolute gold in that show. Yeah, that I heard it was great. The time when it came out, it was super popular. A lot of folks talked about it, but I never got around it. It didn't seem like something I was in the. I like horror and sci-fi. It seemed like this was kind of wacky horror comedy. Um, is it a easy transition from zombies to Santa Clarita Diet? Will it be too much blood eating or whatever? Which 3 films did you like? All all like Heather Lagenkamp in. Well, obviously the first one, and then this. And Mayan and I were talking about this movie Little Bites. That's I think it's on Hulu right now, and she turns up in that, and I like lit up as soon as I saw her. I was just like, it was like being at a horror convention and like turning the corner and you just look and there's Heather Lagenkamp. Like, oh shit, oh Spork. Um, so for some reason that one's fresh on my mind, but in general she's just one of those like horror queens. If she's in your movie, as soon as you see her you're like, okay, this has been blessed. uh, Unfortunately The Walking Dead is just too much. Yeah, I'm anxious to finish it so I'll have seen it all, but the idea of like moving on to Fear the Walking Dead and City of the Walking Dead and Daryl and Carol diaries and all that crap. Getting back to the movie, I'm not talking about enough. Um, this is the part where the girl who wants to be, she's going to go to Hollywood and be a big actress, and she's watching TV late at night, and they're doing the Dick Cavett, Zsa Zsa Gabor interview, and Dick Cavett's like, "Who cares what you say, bitch?" And he stabs her, and then the arms grow out of the TV and pick her up and slam her head into the TV. That's an awesome scene there, where his head pulls out of the top of the TV, kind of video drone style, like very similar to the shot in the first one where he's against the wall pushing through it. And then when Laurence Fishburne opens the door and she's just like up 3 feet in the air with her head in the TV dangling there. Like there's no question of like, what'd she do? Jump? Like, how did she get a running start? I have questions. The logistics of jumping 2 feet into the air to slam your head through a TV screen just seems impossible. Especially a cathode ray tube. Give me a break. Those things weigh like 200 pounds. Timothy Oliphant, okay, the hottest GF I've seen it. Oh, man has good taste. Man, did you like Timothy Oliphant in the new Alien show? He looks crazy with the bleach white hair and he's like trying to be all robotic. All right, I posted on Insta X and posted on my channel posty thing. You are the best, Carrie. I love you. Um, that is interesting. The thing. So the cover MGM VH Fox has a review from Roger Ebert in the top three star Chucky is one mean SOB. I agree. Is that thing about the bitch thing? Oh, Marianne. Yeah, Marianne's excellent. Yes, CDR, I'm with you. I was dealing with the zombies back in '97 in Resident Evil. Yeah, the zombies. I have a theory about that. Especially people of my age and the folks that grew up during the '80s, there was all that Cold War stuff, and like there was this tension that at any moment we were all just going to get nuked, and the world was going to become this desert wasteland. And then I grow up, and every third movie is about how the world's just apocalypse desert wasteland. So I think the Cold War scarred a bunch of filmmakers, and now we're just cursed with endless "what would happen if civilization died off" movies. But like anything, found footage, superhero movies, whatever fads come and go, there's always some that are winners, some that are garbage, and the most are just sort of in between, so so. Robert Reed swearing I have a physical evidence VHS will never die. Long live VHS. Did y'all make the like button go scream? Go do it. Yes, if I appreciate you for liking and subscribing, as I hear we are close to 1,000 subscribers, that would be awesome to be, have Halloween be a 1,000K celebration party. Or just have the second half of this movie be a 1,000K? That's a lot. That's probably more than we'll get tonight, but we'll see. I love Zombies Walking goes too many directions, and I think they should have cut it off after 8 seasons. Yeah, that's The Walking Dead is part of the reason Game of Thrones ended so early. There was a bunch of reasons Game of Thrones ended early, but when shows just start going and going and going, and it feels like we don't have any idea where this is going to end. That's how Lost was. I used to love Lost, and then after like season 6 or something, it was like, oh man, I think Lost only has like 5 seasons or some shit. But after season 3 or 4, I was like, I've had too much Lost. But I have to say, you can transition to the Santa Clarita Diet because it's so lighthearted. Yeah, I'm looking for something lighthearted. I was thinking about doing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to kind of cleanse the palate from all this zombie and death stuff. I have rumors of Nintendo GameCube disc rod as well as bubbles on Blu-ray magnetic tape lives on. There, that whole thing that you're talking about there with the disc rot. For those of you who aren't familiar with the concept, basically any disc, Blu-ray, DVD, CDs, whatever, it's just a piece of aluminum inside two pieces of plastic pressed really tight, and then the information is on that metal that's in there. So not all of the discs were sealed properly when they made them back in the day. So air and moisture can get at them, and they're literally rusting the disc metal that has all that information on it. So what we thought was going to be a thing that never degraded is, a lot of them are degrading already. Apparently some of the Warner Brothers movies, I think it is, already don't play. I watched only the first 2 seasons, Sean. Valak is the mom in Little Bites. Yeah, yeah. As soon as she turned up, that's what Mrs. Night Owl said. She's like, "Oh, look, it's Valak," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even recognize her without her habit on." Prime time, bitch time. One of the most iconic lines for sure. I still have yet to experience the Disc Rot 59. I feel like you're a big collector, then at some point it will affect you. Yeah, I haven't found any of mine to have Disc Rot, but I've been watching less and less of my discs. Like, I don't keep up on them the way I used to. Before the streaming world happened, I watched a lot of, my collection. It was pretty much all I would ever do is just DJ movies because it was more fun to pick out, the whatever was on TV was what they showed you, but now that streaming, it's between all these different channels and everything, there's always something to watch. So my physical media collection goes unloved unless I can't find it on streaming, and then I'm like, thank God for physical media. A virus hits a small Ontario town. Pontypool was a good zombie film. I love Pontypool. That's one. I wanted to watch it. I think it was maybe last Christmas time or something. Um, but that's a fantastic one. It's more theater of the mind, a radio DJ. It's kind of a Orson Welles' War of the World type thing. Like a radio DJ has a zombie attack going outside, so it's all told through his reactions and very low budget, but real engrossing. Yes, Russell, that's on my watch list. Yeah, I love that one. I haven't seen the new Alien show yet. I recommend it. I enjoyed it. It's getting mixed reviews. Some of the true fans aren't digging it. Some of the people like me, it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. I'm anxious for season two. I think the first 3 to 4 seasons of The Walking Dead was fairly good and had good character development. That first 2 seasons, especially the first season, like when Rick's in the hospital and wakes up and has to go find his family and all that's just one of the better zombie stories ever told. But by the time we start, meet a whole new group of people and then they all die, and then we meet a whole new group of people and they all die, and then it's like, oh brother. Who will ever forget the battle at 1428 Elms? That showdown between Nancy and Freddy was epic. The battles, where do you put Nancy on your list of final girls, or I should say, main antagonist, main protagonist to an antagonist? I don't know, whatever you want to call a slasher movie person. You figure you got Laurie Strode, and then you got Nancy, and then you got Tommy Jarvis, and I don't think Chucky or any of them other ones have a consistent person they're antagonizing. And even Tommy Jarvis, he kind of gets to the story a little late. It doesn't show up enough. We need more Tommy Jarvis. Damn it. I'm very pro the one male final girl. Timothy Olyphant is great in Go. Yep, not sure if anyone remembers that movie. I love Go. Actually, when I was thinking of movies that I would like to do for the channel, because sometimes I try to do big stuff that people see. That way, they don't have to watch along if they don't want, because they've seen it so much. Go is one of those like underrated independent hidden gems. It's a Pulp Fiction knockoff. It plays with time and jumps around, but it's just a fun, cool party hangout movie. I'm only 43 and 4 on Nightmare VHS. So much hunting to do. So here we're having the group is now back, and he's hypnotizing them with the weird little light pendulum deal, and they wake up in the session, and the little balls that clack together start to like spin off and float. Or is that in the later on? No, it's coming up. But now here, as I was bitching earlier, how some of the scenes were super cheap looking. Now this looks fantastic. As I mentioned earlier, this was directed by Chuck Russell. He's most famous for this, The Mask, the remake of The Blob, which is kind of a horror cult classic. Yeah, here's where the kid who doesn't talk goes off back to his room because he has this crush on the nurse that works there. And they do this thing where she kind of seduces him and gets naked, and it's an excuse to have like 80s, sex scene in here. It's like we got to get nudity in there some way. And then of course it turns out to be Freddy. You know, never gets seduced in a horror movie. It's going to work out bad for you. I live 4 hours away from Pontypool, nice little town. I didn't know that was a real place. I only watched the first 2 episodes of Alien Earth. Is different, but I'm gonna go back and binge all 8 episodes. Yeah, it's like I told people, it's kind of a combination of like uh, Alien and Blade Runner. Like it's got a lot of stuff about synthetic life and everything. Yeah, here's the part where they realize that they are in a dream. They thought that the hypnosis didn't work, but then the little clacky ball dealies start flying around the room, and the dude in the wheelchair gets up and starts walking around. Once again, all the people in the dysfunctional kids crew, the troubled dream warriors, they all feel like kids in an after school special. Like I think the dorky dungeon master guy, I think he might have been in some after school specials. And damn, that one dude looks like Yaphet Kotto. They should have gave Yaphet Kotto a check for this. Like, here, you can get 10% of his paycheck. And it's so funny. Patricia Arquette's magic skill, like the one dude's a dream, like a wizard, and he can create anything, right? And then the one girl's like this, switchblade badass, and this other dude's like this super strong monster, who can tear apart metal. Like Patricia Arquette's, Kristen, her magic skill is she can do a round off, and not a very good one. She doesn't even land it. She takes a step back. She's not ready for the Olympics. But I like that they cheer her on. They're a very encouraging group. Like button ghost, that is awesome. Perhaps the pirate ghost button. Yes, long live VHS. Get a VCR again. I would. Apparently, Walmart or yeah, Walmart was selling them recently. They were advertising it, but they're like $200 because nobody makes them in mass assembly before. The reason they got so cheap before is because people had big factory lines, producing them. Now there's not as much demand for them. So yeah, here's the gratuitous nudity in this. Good for them. Awesome, Russell. I'm definitely watching it next month for holidays. Pontypool, yeah, I recommend it. Lost one through three are all I recommend. It does have 6 seasons. Yeah, I know. I couldn't remember how many it was, but I knew it was. Wait, only five. See, there you go. Carrie, I'm hoping to meet Heather next month in the Days of the Dead Chicago. Oh, that's awesome. I've actually been to a handful of horror conventions in Chicago, the Walker Stalker Con, and I can't remember Horror Fest. I think that's what it's called. Um, but yeah, Chicago's a great place for a horror convention, and I would definitely be down for checking out that one. I used to live up that way. But Heather, I've seen her at horror conventions. Like I say, she's so sweet and cool. Like when you turn the corner at a horror convention and you see her, or you see you know um, Barbara Crampton or Meg, what's her name with the crazy eyes. Like every time that's what makes it for me. It's like I'm living in this surreal world where these people who are only in movies are just sitting there real. Oh wait, I always love Sunny even more. Yeah, I kind of want to watch that just because we've been doing. I make Mrs. Night Owl suffer through so much damn horror and sci-fi and crazy fantasy and stuff. So, oh, pardon me, the air conditioning kicked on. Phew. There we go. Sorry about that. Um, Frickin' Florida, even at night, it gets to be like 80 degrees. Um, So here, the old buddy who got seduced by the nurse, he's being strapped to the bed by tongues, and then the bed drops out, and there's hell underneath them. And that's what I was talking about. How there's like elements of Evil Dead 2 in this. They go really wild into the dream stuff, and I dig it. Um, Fangirl too hard. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm jealous of you too. But post pictures on YouTube. I'll make sure I follow you so that way I can check those out. Matt Kelly, who also it's going to be another big one. Yes, down the movie DJ rocks the beats. Keep my fingers crossed they don't cancel out. Hopefully not. Rock them disc beats. I would put Nancy as my number one fan of a girl. I was born in the mid '80s, so I saw Nightmare Freddy and Halloween at a young age. Been a fan since. Yeah, um, her in that first one, she's so sympathetic. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis has a charm to her. She's kind of cool in her own way, but Heather, she feels, Nancy, the character, I should say, feels vulnerable, but she also, when she fights back, she feels real. And then this is when the evil nurse, the foil in this movie, what the hell is her name? Priscilla Pointer, Dr. Elizabeth Sims. She's great in this. Like I said, some of the acting is some of the acting is awesome. She's one of the acting, like she's fantastic in this. Do they give Academy Awards for supporting roles in third movies in a Friday the Third or Nightmare on Elm Street franchise? I don't understand why Nancy gets to be in this mental institution, though, this psychiatric ward. Like, to my knowledge, she doesn't have enough credentials to be just butting around and giving people medicine and whatnot. Let me see here. Let me go to the bottom, work my back. Hey, Cal Daly's here. Russell says the Blob freaked him out. Is another movie the poster that got me as a kid alongside Pinhead. Critters was pretty mean too. Those teeth and that quills. Yeah, I enjoy the Blob remake. That's one when we were talking about some of the best remakes ever made when we were watching The Fly. Um, the Blob is one that comes up right away. Like, yeah, they did a good job with that. They did a pretty damn awesome job. Good Manners about a boy werewolf was great. I thought he left when he gave birth because he was a wolf pup. I've never seen Good Manners. I will check that out. I love a good werewolf movie. Step back, round off. I need to show my sisters that. Yeah, this is why Kristen does not make it so far because of her lack of gymnastic skills, right? Like, I don't know. Everybody else has like all this cool dream power, and they seem like some sort of tough guy person to fight with Freddy, and she's like, I can kind of do a handspring. I'm not falling asleep. Thank you, especially you can't in this movie. We ended our stream for part two, and here you are continuing that train. Awesome. Thank you. I didn't realize you guys had a stream going for that. I would need to actually go back and watch that. So now you've got a double feature. You can watch Cal watch part two and watch me watch part three. Look at my friend Cal. Glad to have you here, Superman. It's been refurbished nowadays. Cal! It's a Freddy kind of night. May you're still awake. Of course she is. Uh, Carrie, did you give Don permission to continue the Freddy train? 998 I'm at. So thank you everybody who's joined in on that. And if we get to 1K tonight, you people are amazing. I love you. But the truth is, you're amazing, and I love you no matter what we do. So I appreciate you so much just for hanging out and watching this far into Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 with me. We are at the 56:10 mark. There's 40 minutes left. This is where, in my opinion, the Freddy lore really grows. This whole thing where this doctor goes and finds the old, I don't know, what is this, like a church kind of thing, a bell tower, whatever this is, and where the nun supposedly got trapped in here and was held hostage by the maniacs for, a few days. And then they insinuate that Freddy's, the bastard son of 100 maniacs. Which, logistically, only one maniac could be his father. But the idea just feels like, yeah, it makes him even worse. He's a hundredfold crazy person. There's regular crazy, and then there's 100 times crazy. Russell says the Blob, Steve McQueen. I was 2 when I watched it. 5. Yeah, I haven't seen the Blob, Steve McQueen since I was a kid. I watched it because I was curious about it. I knew it was a famous horror movie, and even as a kid, I had an interest in seeing the classics. My grandma would be like, "Did you ever see them about the big ants?" And I'd be like, "No, but I will." Paula says, "Nice to see you. Welcome, Paula." Yeah, Paula was here the other night. Now she's hanging out, and I'm back. Paula, what's your favorite Freddy movie? Oh, nice. Russell was around 16, The Blob, Hell Night, and Funhouse as well. Take a break, Ginger. Ginger, just in life, you do too much. Unless you have a wife and a kids at home depending on you, then go to work, sir. No such thing. Gotta make Australia more Staria. It was the '80s, Don. Nurse Nancy. Yeah, good point. She was just turned into a nurse. She's a guidance counselor with a lot of Elm Street experience. Well, of course. I mean, she clearly. I like how the other psychiatrist, the one I just mentioned, Doctor whatever, Doctor Elizabeth Sims. She ain't having it for 1 second. She keeps giving her the stink eye. She's like, "What do you mean you're going to show up here and give these kids experimental drugs? Don't you know I'm the spoil sport of this movie? I'm not letting that happen." There it is, 1K. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. You guys rule so much. So happy 1000 to you. Thank you for joining me and being here for it. It's a special, momentous occasion. Cheers, right? Shit, Stone Cold style. Meanwhile, back to the movie. This is the part where the evil, creepy nun explains to the doctor, who I only know from Body Double, that the Amanda Krueger was captured by the lunatics and blah blah blah. And I like that they portray that as making Freddy even more awful. Like his backstory is a tragedy, but it seems like that would make him more crazy and messed up and even more evil, right? He's got the DNA of 100 maniacs. But in logic, nowadays they'd make that movie and that'd be like an excuse for Freddy to forgive him. Like, well, life was hard for him starting out. Right from day one, he just didn't have a chance. You got to give Freddy a break. Yo, you made it to 1K. Thank you. Thank you. Congrats, Don. Welcome to 1K. Funhouse is a classic. 1K. Enjoy that bunny trade. Those pennies will be rolling in. Oh, I'm going to be looking tomorrow and see how I've made 1/3 of a cent. I'm so hyped. But no, really, the main thing is, like I said, I would like to just have the stuff turned on, the ability to, have those little membership dealies, not the get people to sign up for a membership, but the little emojis and be able to put my stupid T-shirts at the bottom of my show instead of having to pimp them out during the show. The stuff you get to do when YouTube considers you a real person. Nice. Thank you, Paula. I appreciate it. Yeah, so cool. I've been in a few live streams, just hit 1,000, but another one was 100,000 this month. Well, hopefully we'll get 100,000 next Halloween. That's our goal. Big congratulations, Don. Thank you, man. I couldn't have done it without you, my friends, obviously. Halloween on YouTube, I told Sean, has been very good to me. When our friend Carrie Craves Cinema nominated me for Horror YouTuber of the Month, and I was for October 2 years ago, and I nominated my friend Mayanne, and she became Horror YouTuber of the Month. So going back to that and all the way through now, whenever Halloween comes around, my people find me. So thank you for being awesome at spooky season. Uh, Proud of you, Don. Thank you, Carrie. Another virtual hug. So now we're to the point in the movie that happens in every Freddy movie, and it's one of the reasons I like Freddy movies. Other horror movies don't have this, and it's such an awesome thing. No one ever says like, "Oh my God, Michael Myers is chasing me," and they go, "Oh, you're crazy." Or Chucky is the once again the only other one. It's like, "Oh, I'm in danger," and then people say, "No, you're not." And Freddy has that in spades, and that's what's going on now at this point. Actually, what's going on in this point is one of the best scenes in the movie. The Nancy takes the doctor to meet her father, and there's drunk ass John Saxon. And I love him in this role because normally John Saxon is the coolest guy on earth. Like nobody has a more steely, like furrowed brow than John Saxon. Like when he says something serious, he don't mess around. Like you believe it. So to see him kind of broken down and drunk, and he's no longer a detective, he's a sheriff, and he's a security guard. I take it back, and he's got a drinking problem, and he's chain smoking. He looks like hell. The effects of the first movie have taken their toll on poor John Saxon. He's not the awesome dude he used to be. Russell says, "Congrats, thank you. I need 100,000. My daughter keeps asking me for a YouTube play button." Right? My kids are like, "When you get a million, will..." I'm like, "Excuse me." Shit. So, by the way, if my kids are watching, go to bed. It's too late for you. Let's see here. Just make one, man. Yes, boy. It took my friend Jeff 8 years daily uploads to get to 100,000, man. That's a lot. Um, it's going to take me 1,000 years then. Good morning to all you wonderful people. Val's Views. Welcome, Val. Nice to see you here. I don't know if I've, yeah, I think I know Val. Anyway, welcome, Val. Glad to have you here. Yeah, maybe 100,000 views. The first one, Val, you come in at a perfect time. Dominated to 1K. Thank you, Val. Hello, dear May. Congrats on 1K. Thank you, Val. Is this Val? Yeah, that's who it is. Is it the General? That's who it is. I didn't recognize your new avatar. I dig it. Howdy, Russell. I use my magical powers to get you to 1,000. Shh, don't tell. I love you, wizards. Be careful. The wizard in this movie has some trouble. Hello to my wonderful friend Carrie. Congratulations, Don. Thank you, Paula. I have some apple cider vinegar. I'll take a shot, Don. I appreciate it. Just in time for the party. Yeah, congratulations to me, big Mr. 1000 man. I appreciate it though. Like I say, it's weird, YouTube keeps some stuff unlocked, and then as you achieve whatever little goals they set for you, it's like I'm not real until I achieve your number. Hurtful. I'm drinking water. I appreciate the squirt. You are excited for me to hit 1,000. I appreciate it. Um, I'm red billing until 6 a.m. Holy crap, you're going to be up. Diet Coke and lime for me. Nice. Hello, Carrie. It's blended with 8-ounce water. It's good for twice a day. Rough taste though. I have Coke Zero and sparkling ice. That sounds delicious too. The best. I have a shampoo that has apple cider vinegar. Does that count? I used to like a apple beer called Woodchuck. I mean, you can't drink too many of them because it'll give you a sour stomach and a headache. But 2, 3 woodchucks on the porch on a hot day is kind of delicious. I recommend it. Whoever invented that turning apple cider into beer, they're a genius. Wowza, CDO. I don't know about Wednesday again. Late night doesn't hurt there and there. Plato was all about apple cider vinegar. It does metabolism and antibacterial properties. Gotta love some antioxidants. You deserve that nominee. Seriously, I remember when the first Found Your Channel was Clerks Video. I was hooked from then on. Oh, you are a sweetheart. Yes, I remember. Actually, I found you through our friend Poppin' the Popcorn, Katie. I wish Katie was around more, but when she is, it's a wonderful treat. But yeah, that group that I met through Katie, and then you, and then Mayanne, I met through a variety of places because Mayanne's awesome. She's everywhere. I gotta go volunteer at my daughter's school book fair tomorrow, but first we party. Woohoo! Right? If you need to go at any point and get some sleep, I understand, but I love that you're here. Clerks was such a good movie to see during the '90s. Yeah, I did a watch along of Clerks back before I did live watch alongs, and I just did the highlights. That Clerks video did pretty well. Enough people watched it, but I'd like to do another watch along live and talk about that movie with you folks here, because that one's a important one in me wanting to learn how to make movies, because I kind of felt like if this dude could do it, other people could do it. Like it. Robert Rodriguez is supposed to make you feel that way, but he doesn't. It's like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't have gunfights and exploding trucks and stuff. Oh, huge congratulations on 1K. Thank you, John. Welcome, John Franklin, movie reviewer. I've mentioned John a bunch of times on the show. John, my first YouTube friend. Uh, John, yeah, everybody on YouTube needs to have at least one John Franklin in their life. So I'm very appreciative, everybody. Thank you for coming to the celebration. Super Trooper. Yes, I'm an all-night person most of the time. I work between 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. Yeah, this nighttime stuff for me, it's been a whole lifetime deal. But it's nice because at night it's quiet, the world's chill. You put on your movie, you watch it, you can get, pulled into it. The phone doesn't ring, the world's just quiet. So there's something about enjoying a movie that way instead of trying to watch it at 3 in the afternoon with people knocking on the door and your cars passing by outside and all that. Like, so nighttime's the best time for movie lovers, especially if you're like cozied up in bed and you got a good blanket and it's a little bit chilly. Maybe it's rainy. Oh, movie on a good rainy night, huh? Congrats on Ben 1K. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for always hanging out and enjoying the chat and contributing. Whenever I see you, I light up. You can tell that I appreciate you, my friend. I'm gonna play ABBA for you. You a dancing queen? Mamma mia, here we go. I'm the General Don. Yes, I was gonna say. I was like, is that the General? I didn't recognize you knew your Avi. It threw me off. I'm very simple like that. Don is drunk on 1K8, right? I'll be out in the street howling at the moon when the show's over. My neighbors will come out and say, "What's the problem?" I'll be like, "I got 1,000 on YouTube, man." What did May say? It's me, Jessica. Mm, White Monster energy drinks all day. No thanks. I like that one, Jason, but it's a Red Bull White Peach for me. I'm a 5 hour energy guy. I don't like coffee, but I will stick those little bullets. So take a shot of them real fast. And we'll tell you, Kitty, we miss her. We must summon her, right? We do need to summon Katie. Whenever she pops up on here, or sometimes I'll see her on Instagram, and I get like a warm feeling because she's such a like sweet, kind person, and I met so many nice folks through her. Um, lots of different horror communities. That's a great thing about the horror community. There's many different little subsections and groups that clustered together, but all awesome people always. Don't fear the darkness, fear the shadow, right? Fear the Reaper. I like hard cider, but I can't drink it all night long. One is good to get me started with something else. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. More than a few hard ciders. They'll give you the sour stomach, and you kind of get a headache the next day. And launch party clerks, let me know. That'd be a fun one. Yeah, I need to get together with you. I was hoping to try to get Pumpkinhead in before Halloween, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But I would definitely be down for watching Clerks. It's a very important '90s indie movie. Meanwhile, in this movie that we were not talking about enough, John Saxon's taken off the doctor from the guy from Body Double. Um, Let me look and see what else the hell he's done. But they're going to the cool, what do you call it? Junkyard, like auto graveyard or whatever. And it makes for like super cool scenery. All these cars stacked on top of each other, and Freddy's bones is hidden in the trunk of a car, and it kind of feels like this gladiatorial thing later on. And I don't know, there's all sorts of cool things with it. But for a $4.5 million budget, they found a really cool set to use. Craig Wasson, 82 roles. Jesus Christ. I'm only going to tell you guys the two or three that I know him from. Like I said, Body Double, the Brian De Palma Alfred Hitchcock tribute movie. I liked when I was a kid, but now every time I watch it, it feels slow and clunky. Um, See how much better I'm doing it, not just shouting out the random things they've been in. But I'm going to do it any second. Yeah, Body Double's the only real thing. Tales from the Dark Side, the show. This. Yeah, he really didn't do much else. He's in a bunch of TV and a bunch of one-offs here and there, but no, this he had a big heyday with Body Double in this, and he kind of just faded away. Shout out to you, Craig Watson. But here they put Kristen in the a padded room, and then the rest of the gang, transports using dream telepathy to get into her dream, and then they wake up in the padded room. And this is the awesome scene where Freddy's slashing at the inside of the padded room, and all these feathers are going everywhere. Super cheap, but it looks great the way they do it. Like it feels scary, but it's just a bunch of feathers floating around like snow. Clerks with that low budget feel, Don. Yes, I feel that way about Pie with Aronofsky for other budget for Flip Millions. Yeah, Pie is another crazy one. Um, for some reason, the black and white in Clerks works for me, but in Pie, it's somewhat alienating. I don't know why. I feel like Pie needed to have a bigger budget or something. But the couple times I've watched it, I've been fascinated. Aronofsky's a master, but I love the stillness of nighttime, right? I try to explain to people before the pandemic happened, everything, there was a phase where everything was open in the middle of the night. I could do grocery shopping, go get fast food, a lot of different places, had nighttime presences. And then once the pandemic came and everything just shut down, the nighttime stuff never reopened. All the nighttime diners and stuff are just closed. But my movies will always be here for me. God love you. I'm drinking THC infused Coke and blazing hash. I'm legless. Wow, you are awesome, Russell. You're a legend, not legless. Those are hard Mountain Dews because I never get a hangover headache next day. Legless, oh my God. Oh, nice, Russell. Don, use of the magic word pumpkin head, right? Hey, Sean Franklin. Welcome, Sean. Nice to see you here. Hi to you as well. Here's the awesome scene where it's the callback to the opening scene where the mom is coming to tuck Kirsten in, and then she's talking to her date downstairs, and Freddy pops in. He's wearing a tux, and he cuts her head off and holds her head up, kind of like Medusa in Clash of the Titans. And the mom sort of yells at her, and of course she does like a front flip out the window and ends up back in the nightmare house. This one is the first one that really does a good job with having a world that seems humongous because everything's surrealistic. You walk through one door and everything changes. So here's Taryn, the girl who's got intravenous drug use history. And she has this awesome scene where like the holes in her arms are begging for a fix, and there's like little mouths, and they're just like, yeah, that scene, it's coming up here. She's walked into the alleyway. There's the famous tattoo, the graffiti on the wall, Taryn and Freddy. I put up a bunch of really good and really bad Freddy Krueger tattoos in my shorts. Um, and there's an awesome one of Freddy with the syringe fingers and the little Taryn and Freddy thing on the arm. It's pretty dope. And there's the classic bum. Because Freddy wears that hat and he's all disheveled and hunched over and stuff. Almost every Nightmare on Elm Street movie has a scene where we see a homeless person, like, kind of living in the corner of an alley or wherever. And I think the first one has maybe like a janitor that kind of you mistake for Freddy. But they often do the thing where it's like, is that Freddy? No, that's just a regular scary person. Although with all the fight scenes we see nowadays, John Wick and all that, this fight where she's got the switchblades and Freddy has the finger gloves, it's pretty weak. They do like two moves. There's not a lot of knife foo going on here. I just got my copy of Pumpkinhead out to watch for Halloween on VHS 97. I saw. Pumpkinhead in the theater as a kid as well, and it was the first time a young woman was nice enough to kiss me. So that movie will always be special. Uh, I hope she's doing well out there somewhere, sweet lady. But yeah, Pumpkinhead will always be the movie that I went on a date with and got my first kiss in a dark theater, which is appropriate because I'm a bit of a Pumpkinhead myself. Let's see here. Hey, Pumpkin is a perfect Halloween movie, no matter what the quality of horror you're watching it is. Jim Carrey would be interesting. Krueger Ventura, right? Prayers, Russell, my friend Jason, high school paralyzed from Clark, amazing friend. Well, I'm sorry about that. That's sad. Feathers were scary back then, right? That's what I think about in True Romance too. There's the fight at the end, the big shootout, and the pillows get all shot up, and there's just feathers blowing all around the room, and cocaine and everything. Feathers are pretty. The director who directed Dream Warriors was thinking about Jim Carrey. Saw that on your video on YouTube. We have 24-hour places still. Whataburger, Walgreens, Winco. See the Walgreens all around here and back home in the Chicago area. They all shut down. They used to be open 24 hours, but then they shut down at midnight. Um, the some McDonald's around here are open, but pretty much all the rest close around 2 in the morning or so. Midnight, 2 in the morning. What be cool Nightmare on Elm Street video game? I thought they have to make one, right? Don't they have an old school Freddy one from Nintendo, maybe? Winco and Crest are two 24-hour grocery stores in my areas. Yeah, even the Walmarts and everything close around here. It's a bummer. There's a Winn Dixie, which sounds very southern, just around the corner, but nope, closes at 10 every night or 11. Fifth means I'm stoned. I have legs. Sorry about your friend. Yeah, sorry about that. I always hate when people have tragedies in their life. I just want everyone to be happy and safe. Have you read Freddy versus Jason versus Ash comic book? I haven't. I know that they wanted to make that movie for a long time, and that feels like something cool that should have been that never was. Here's where the dude in the wheelchair becomes, the dungeon master. He's like this crazy wizard. He's got these Doctor Strange cloak on, and he's shooting the green, crazy sort of bad effects out of his fingers. But Freddy, of course, tells him he doesn't believe in fairy tales and just stabs him like it's nothing. Good way to solve that problem. Oh, you do magic? I don't believe in magic. You're killed. The end. Yeah, Patricia Arquette's really. I mean, it would have sucked if they fired her. She's good in this, and I like that this is part of her, acting catalog, her oeuvre. Oh, wait, the director who directed Dream Warriors directed the new movie Witchboard. Should I give that one a chance? I wonder. I don't know. When I was going through Chuck Russell's stuff too, I saw he did Witchboard. Chuck Russell's career's fallen off a little bit since his heyday in the 80s and 90s. What was I was going to look up? He's still doing stuff. I think the biggest thing I know him from closer to now would be Scorpion King, and that was like 20 years ago. Um, yeah, all of his stuff is very low rated. Uh, Bless the Child, I remember that one. Eraser, remember that with Arnold? Um, yeah, otherwise his collection of films is okay, but the hits he's had, this, The Blob, and The Mask, you can pretty much retire on those. We never sleep here. Get lots of stuff open. Jason kicking boom boxes on the street, etc. Oh, really? Sean and I own one of those comic books. Amazing graphics. Yeah, I love film crossover comic books. I have Big Trouble in Little China one. I have a couple of different Escape from New York comic books. Back in the day, often when comics were really big in the 80s, they used to release, Marvel would do like a 4-part series of, comic book adaptation. Speaking of 59th, I think I have the comic books for the old Dell maybe comic books for the Black Hole, or the prequel to Event Horizon as it's known. I'm glad you have legs. Yeah, Jason was awesome, but you've not talked to him in years. Prayers for him for sure. Definitely. Pumpkinhead was based on 1 minute poem. That I didn't know. Love me a good poem, especially a short one. Someone said the magic word, right? Say hello to my little friend. Are you going to whip out a pumpkinhead on us? Ginger's the magic word pumpkinhead. Witchboard is okay, Gary. One time I watched Quali. I watched the old Witchboard. Remember the one Tawny Katane back in the 80s? That's another one that's always free on Tubi and Shout Factory and stuff. All right, so now we are at the 1:19, 34, 35, 36 mark. There's 17 minutes left in the movie. Here, The psychiatrist and John Saxon have gone to the junkyard, and it's like just this crazy, I don't know, surrealistic, just hellscape. Like it looks dangerous and scary. I never realized how many people wrecked VW Bugs. There's like three in there. It's a popular car to crash or crash into. And then the bones that Freddy's in the trunk. It's a old red, like it looks like a Cadillac, but it looks like Christine, kind of. I don't know. This is a common theme in a bunch of horror movies, and it kind of annoys me. They always like ghosts and monsters want you to solve some real world problem. So like you move into a house and you get a ghost, suddenly you're out like trying to find their bones or solve an unsolved like mystery or something. You know, ghosts are real needy. They always got you want you to do stuff. So like this one, they come up with the idea. It's like, oh, we'll give Freddy a proper burial. That'll help. No, it won't. Most movies are anymore, me, unfortunately. But this one is very cliche. Well, you got the body and I got the brains. Oh, oops, wrong film. Trailer for Witchboard didn't look too promising. Yeah, I don't know. Stacy's here. What's your favorite Freddy kill? In this one, I don't know. It might be that first one, the stop motion puppeteer one. That's a pretty damn awesome one. Um, the TV kill is probably the best one in this one, I would say, because it's so crazy where the arms grow out and then the head pops out and then they slam them in there. That big worm snake thing, the sandworms, you hate them? I hate them. Shout out to Beetlejuice. That one's pretty awesome. But anyway, Stacy, welcome. You're awesome. I'm glad you're here. You would have to agree with me on Witchboard. Sean, do you have Blade comic book? I do. Blade is weird. I have a handful of Blade comic books. Just when the character got big in the movies, I went back and read them. He looks totally different. Like it, he wears like a brown outfit instead of the cool like Matrixy looking outfit that he wears in the comic books and stuff. They later on changed him, but I haven't been up on my comics in a long time. But when Blade was in his heyday, he didn't look like the Wesley Snipes Blade. But I have like an Alf comic book. I have Big Valley, the old cowboy TV show. I have some comic books from that. The Black Hole is awesome. Love that movie. Travis Mitchell, how's it going, guys? Welcome, Travis. Nice to see you. You a big fan of Freddy? What's your favorite Freddy movie? Anybody in the chat? What's your favorite Freddy movie? Never read any comic books in 69 years. Really? Yeah, as a kid, I grew up on the superheroes. They were, Super Friends and Justice League and all that was everywhere. And then Spider-Man and Hulk used to have a Saturday morning cartoon. So the old Bixby Incredible Hulk, all that. So Adam West Batman and reruns. But when X-Men got big, I got into comic books and just started collecting everything. And for a big chunk of my early teen years, especially, I loved comic books. Batman. That's when the Frank Miller's Dark Knight came out, so it was kind of a law I had to like comic books then, whether I wanted to or not. All the cool stuff was going on there. By the way, Spider One liked my review of Little Bites on Letterboxd. That movie's so strange. Congratulations. I thought about that after I said it. I was like, you know what? This movie is so small that I bet like the people who made it really would just wish folks would give it a good review. But I thought it was interesting. My wife hated it. Um, it's one I wouldn't tell my mom to watch, but at the same time, it's creepy and weird, and it's there's a lot to discuss there. I don't know, man. Me and you'll do a watch along of Little Bites sometime. I'll get back in Spider One's good graces. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Congratulations, folks are saying hi to Travis. I need to rewatch Cobweb. I haven't seen Cobweb yet. That's in my to watch list. I gotta watch Little Bites. It's interesting. When Mayan and I were discussing it, it was my opinion that people who like artsy movies or the real horror heads will like Little Bites. Everybody else is gonna be like, nah. So there's the first time we see Freddy cut open his sweater, and you can see the little faces of the people he's killed trapped in his burnt flesh. Like as I was mentioning earlier, they really go deep into cool effects and strange imagination stuff in this one. They really let the imagination of what can we do just go wild in this one, and I dig that about it. So now we cut back to John Saxon and Doctor What's his name slowly shoveling away, getting absolutely nowhere. This all is relatively dumb to me. I like it because it looks cool, but the idea that Freddy's in the middle of fighting with the Dream Warriors, then he dips off to go back and fight with these guys, and I don't know. This was written by, well, the original screenplay, I believe, was written by Frank Darabont, the guy who directed Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, The Walking Dead, the aforementioned Walking Dead. The first couple seasons were all Frank Darabont stuff. He did The Mist. If you saw that one, it's a great Stephen King movie. So Darabont is awesome. He wrote this. Also, Chuck Russell and a few other people got in and did rewrites and whatever. So this movie has such a cool lineage with a couple of good big time stars that got their break. It's got all sorts of crazy effects. It's got a competent director. It's got an awesome writer. It's from a company that cares about this brand. New Line cared about Freddy's. They didn't put out a lot of crap Freddy movies. They weren't, even though they were in a rush to make them, they somehow all turned out relatively okay towards the ones towards the end, and that's when I start tapping out. The Regal Mystery movie this week was Christie the Boxing movie with Sydney Sweeney. Ben Foster is great in it. He should be nominated. I'm not familiar with that one. Our friend Stacy knows about all the movies. I love talking movies with Stacy. I love how John Heston has to fight the Army of Darkness. Good call, right? It's like all these like skeleton monsters, this Ray Harryhausen stuff. Um, Going back to like that stop motion jazz at the with the marionette death. Some of the scenes where the skeleton, soldier or whatever you want to call him, the Freddy, hits him with the shovel. They don't line up very well. But it's one of those where you give them some special effects in the '80s. You just sort of like, I'll give you an A for effort. Like it didn't quite work out the way you probably wanted, but I appreciate it. Russell says Little Bites is funny. I thought it was kind of emotional. Have you met Robert Englund and Brad Dourif Comic Con? Brad Dourif, yes. Robert Englund, no. Brad Dourif, I saw him at a table. I didn't have like a meet or greet or picture or anything with him. But Robert Englund, he's the type that like gives the lectures and stuff. At 2:00, be sure to sit down and hear Robert Englund talk. So here's the Hall of Mirrors. Literally, they walk down a hall and it's just nothing but mirrors on the wall, and Freddy's in all the mirrors, and he jumps out and grabs Nancy and pulls her into one. The effects with pulling into the mirror, a little but kind of cool. Like there's some sort of weird line. I don't know how they actually did that. I mean, I'm assuming it's a chroma key something or other, but it looks like CGI, and I'm sure it's not. Pretty cool effect. Pretty cool effect. Sorry. The stop motion was pretty awesome. I like it says earlier the Medusa head on the Clash of Titans style. Yeah, exactly. I really enjoyed it, Ginger, a little bit, huh? And then that end creature. I saw a meme with Star Trek Tribble and an owl hybrid. I did think of you, Don. Did I tell you once before? When I was a teenager, we inherited a dog, a rescue dog, and his name was Tribbles. He was a big fur, like a fluffy Shih Tzu, like all just a pile of fur. And he came to pre-name Tribbles. I was like, dog is like made for me. So yeah, that would be. I need to actually probably look that up and send it to my mom. She would probably love it. I gotta say the puppeteer kill. He is awake, but he can do anything. He's just being puppeted to death. Yeah, that puppeteer kill is awesome. But yeah, the TV death is iconic. I mean, that one. That's another one they just show in montages of great horror scenes. The old Peter Lorre horror movie. Freddy's Revenge is probably my favorite. Really, Freddy's Revenge? I like 1, 3, 4, and I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to go through and watch them all at the end and adjust them later. Freddy Barber College? I would go to a Freddy Barber College. My favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie is Freddy versus Jason. It is. See, we were talking about it earlier. I have a complicated feelings about it. Sometimes I love. There are certain parts of it I love, and there's certain parts I hate. It's one I've seen several times, so clearly it's an effective movie. So there, Nancy's dream. She dreams that her father's giving her a hug, and instead it's Freddy, of course, that trickster. And he stabs Nancy just straight up in the stomach. Like, Jesus. And here's where Patricia Arquette's flipping does absolutely no good. It's like, why don't you do a somersault or something and get away? Do a cartwheel and kick him in the head. You ever see Jim Cotta? I was thinking of Jim Cotta, actually, the part where they talk about the bastard son of 100 maniacs. I was thinking about the mentally ill town in Jim Cotta. Just everybody who lives there is insane, so they just run through the streets doing karate on them, as one would. So now here he puts Freddy's bones in the grave they made in the junkyard, and then he splashes it with the holy water he stole from the church. And Freddy has this awesome, like, just the light that bursts through him. It looks like the opening title sequence to The Thing. And he spins around and he becomes Freddy Disco Ball. I like the nightlife. I like the boogie. And there's Not Fit Kodo. Where you been all movie doing nothing? Thought you were supposed to be strong. And then Mr. No Talk. He gets to make out with the Playboy model and just looks sad the whole movie. Let's go! Yeah. Um, my favorite Freddy Krueger movie is The New Nightmare. Really? New Nightmare isn't my favorite. I Most people say it's like the king, the movie that created Scream. Like even Wes Craven says that what he thought about what he came up with for New Nightmare, he ended up, you know, using a lot of it for Scream. Playing with the Nintendo Power Glove gets my win. Now you're playing with power. Yeah, Sega does what Nintendo don't. Ghoulies go to Barber College. I won second place in Jim's contest. Congratulations. Linnea Quigley is the most faces I read somewhere. Yes, you are correct. Congrats, Stacy. We like to go Freddy if they brought him back. I would think a younger could be interesting and creepier. Austin Butler, I think could do it. Someone cool with it. I don't know. I waffle back and forth on whether or not they should have a big star play Freddy. I mentioned earlier on the stream there's talk of Jim Carrey maybe playing Freddy. I thought what's his name? Jackie Earl Haley was maybe a little too big to play Freddy. One of the great things about Robert Englund is that's just pretty much all he is. He was cool in V and a few other things here and there. He's got some other credits, but mainly he's Freddy Krueger. So there we see Amanda Kruger's grave. Freddy's been buried. We're coming down to the end. We're at the 132 and 30-second mark. And there's the what do you call it? I can't even think what you call it. Like a lucky doll, whatever, that he sleeps with next to his bed to protect him from Freddy attacking. And we see the little Nightmare on Elm Street house with the window light up, so it lets you know, oh, this isn't done. There's going to be more. But there won't be any more of this stream because that is the end of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a fan. I think personally it's my second favorite Freddy movie, but um, Part 1 being first. But it's nice to see so many folks with so many different favorite Freddy movies in here. Apparently my battery is running low. I guess I didn't plug in my laptop. But anyways, thank you for joining me tonight and watching The Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 and for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I thank all of you. Welcome new, welcome old, welcome all of you. You all rule. I'm very thankful for you, and I wish all of you a happy spooky season, a happy Halloween. Thank you for joining me and tolerating my annoying talk. Let me try to get through some of these real, anybody else? Um, Tribbles, that's nice. 976 Evil is simple fun. Folks are saying goodbye. It's time to wrap up. Have an awesome night, everyone. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, Jinja. Thank you, Cinephile World Order. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, all these people who came in tonight. Cal L dropped by. So many cool people. I appreciate it a lot. Sean says, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for being here, Travis. I appreciate you, buddy. Um, yeah, Russell Collier says Traffic Flame 65000 was funny. Yeah, we talked about during the Fly stream. Those two go together well. But I'm going to wrap this up for tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween. I'm sure I'll see you before then. The plans are to see you a few times before then. And otherwise, I wish you, my friends, green grass and high tides forever. I love you all very much. Adios, amigos.